So welcome back, guys. Today we are just kind of diving into the BitaxeHex. So on the channel we've been making some bitaxe content. We got one previously maybe 3 months ago, and then that's kind of taken us on a journey down the whole bitaxe road, exploring other smaller miners. But today we're looking at the BitaxeHex, which is going to be the newest version of the bitaxe, and it's actually going to include 6 chips, I believe. So the good thing about this is that anyone can kind of make it themselves. I don't know if you guys want to see a video on that because the GitHub is all public, so you can actually see it all. But just looking at here, I don't exactly know a release date for these because you could make it yourself right now with the GitHub that we see here. However, obviously, a lot of people don't know how to make them, me being included, but I know kind of the basics of how it works, and we'll kind of get into that later. But for now, I'm just kind of bringing you an updated video, see what it looks like, see the hash rates, and other things like that. So this is from Want Clue. He's kind of big in the bitaxe scene on Twitter, on YouTube, really just putting them together. So he has a lot more technical knowledge than me. I don't really know necessarily how they build these things. I have got my own DIY kit, which I've been working on and recording, but currently right now I haven't got it set up. So there might be a video of me making a full one, but that'll probably be a long-winded hour-long video sped up and stuff like that. So right here what we're seeing is the BitaxeHex. So you have 2 fans on top, not the small fans like you see on the normal bitaxe, and then below is the board, and then I believe that's a heatsink underneath it. So as I said, I don't have the technical knowledge to actually make one, but I'm sure it'll be coming to the consumer market very, very soon. If you go onto bitaxe.org, you can see all these sellers right here. So it says legit sellers of the bitaxe, and it lists out all the sellers and the regions that they're in. So you have, Australia, USA, Europe, Canada, Austria, and then Spain and France at the bottom here. One thing that I have found is ones selling in Europe are quite a lot more expensive than the ones selling in Canada and the USA. Even with the exchange rate from pounds or euros over to Canadian dollars or to just normal dollars, you save some money if you buy it from a Canada or USA based retailer. I think it's just to do with the PCB and how much it costs to actually manufacture it over in Europe as opposed to getting it done in China or in the USA. So one thing that I just caught as well, so this is a stack of bitaxes. I didn't actually think about this, but you can actually attach them through the holes on the corners of the bitaxe. This is obviously not the hex version, this is just a bunch of them put together. Let's get into the hex. So we see here, this is kind of what the board looks like. So you have 6 chips. We'll explore a little bit more into the board in a minute. Obviously the LCD display is going to plug in here. I don't know how big it is because on this video you don't necessarily see the LCD because it's covered by fans. But we're looking at here, you can get all of these schematics or whatever and upload them into a PCB manufacturer. So we can see it here. This is basically the schematics uploaded into the PCB/PCBA website. So you can use whichever ones you want. The boards aren't particularly the most expensive thing. The main expensive thing would be the chips and obviously the components as well. So you see here, you just got the standard board, the layers, you can choose different design and white and black. So this is why the whole bitaxe thing is very good, is because it's open source and you can basically upload it into here. And if you have the technical ability and the time or just learning it, you can actually make your own one, send it to yourself and create your own bitaxe at home. So if you have the technical ability to actually, program one of these, then you could have a BitaxeHex on your hands as long as you print the board and all the components come with it. And just here we have a 3D view of it, so you can see where each chip is going to go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm assuming that they'd be using the S21 chips, but I don't actually think that there is much difference between S21 and S19 when it comes to programming. They just all kind of fit in there regardless. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. And then LCD display, this one's a bit different to what we're seeing on here. You have the LCD display here, this top part. You have, I believe that's a micro USB maybe, and that fits in there. And then the power supply goes here, or up here I believe. I don't really know exactly where all of these components are coming from, but this is kind of what it looks like. So I've just got this from the GitHub here. If you go to manufacturing files, and then you basically place the Gerber into there. So we've got the 304 that we have at the bottom here, and it's displayed here. You can actually turn it around. You can see the back. So all these components can be put in. I believe that they do assembly on here as well. So PCB assembly, adding in all the stuff, obviously not the chips, but they'll assemble all the components on the back and the top side. So if you click on here, you can see that they'll assemble them all, but you do have to give them a BOM file with the list of parts that they're going to have to put on there. I don't know how accurate this price is either after actually putting on all the assembly parts, but I'm willing to bet that it's not that much more than what you'd pay for an actual BitAxe. So the main cost is coming from the components, and then obviously somebody has to make one of these, put it all together, and then ship it out to you. So there's a bit extra on top for some profitability, and that's mainly what we're looking at right here. If I can get this to go center, let's just put it back 3D. So if you just zoom in here, you can see, oh my god, let's actually go to 2D. You zoom in here, you can see the chip there, the chip there, chip there, chip there, chip there, chip there. So in theory, you could actually do this until you had a full hash board. Obviously somebody needs to come out and make it and actually develop for it. But slowly we are kind of getting to that point where we can create our own ASICs at home. I'm hoping that these people who are producing the BitAxes and actually making them start to upload a little bit more so we can get more knowledge around them and actually see how to make them. And then we can follow the guides from there. Because a lot of the information is just online. You have to go for a search and to kind of know what you're doing on these things. But if you can get one successfully with 6 in there, I'm sure that we can get one successfully with 8, 10, whatever BitMain has on their chip. I think it maybe is 50, around 50 chips in there. But right now we're at 6, and it can definitely be pushed further, I believe. When we click on here, this is a fully machine manufactured one that we see here, and you can see the actual size difference. So this is the BitAxe 203. This is a 1366AG chip. I don't know if there's a difference between the chips, as I said, but you can see that there are chips actually installed already on here. So this is what they look like when you've actually soldered them on and all of that. Obviously the parts haven't been put on at all yet, but you can see the size difference. It's not too much bigger, and hopefully when it comes out to kind of retail, we'll actually get one of these and we'll make a video on it. So it is big news for the whole community. Slowly we are kind of pushing out these ASIC people, and we're kind of making it open source so anyone can get their hands on one of these and can mine Bitcoin at home. But that's the whole BitAxe movement, is that we're bringing cheap miners to people that can't necessarily afford BitMain, you know, Antminers, and hopefully we can build it up so it kind of rivals what BitMain has. But ultimately the chips still come from BitMain, so that's a whole different kettle of fish that we need to look around and see if we can get our own chips actually made for these. But it is a big step forward to have this BitaxeHex online. So currently when we're looking here, you can actually see on public pool that there are some BitaxeHexes online at current time. So there's 21 of them, obviously the highest one being just the plain BitAxe. I don't know if it segments it out to different models, so the Ultra, Supra, or the normal one. But you can see that there are some people that have already got their hands on this and have started mining on the BitaxeHex. This is the best picture I could find for what the hash rates look like. So you have 1277 gigahash or 1.2 terahash and an efficiency of 44.77 joules per terahash. Best difficulty is 10k since system boot, and then shares, a couple have rejected, but that's always going to happen with this new hardware. They kind of have to iron it out a little bit. The expected hash rate on this is actually 2.8 terahash. So we could be expecting around that on the network. When we're looking at public pool, if we go back here, the BitaxeHex, you have 21 on there, you have 58 terahash, so we do that division, and that comes out to around 2.76 terahash for each of these miners. So it is kind of in line with what we are seeing on expected hash rate for these. The best difficulty, as we can see there, is 1.22, but there are higher difficulties being had by other miners that we see there. Overall, there is a lot of innovation coming through in this market, this smaller niche of Bitcoin mining, and hopefully we can see a day where we have a lot more boards with a lot more chips on them, and it can be a substantially lower price than what BitMain are producing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know your thoughts down below on if you're going to get one of these when it does come out to consumer markets. and if you've been mining on the normal bitaxes. Make sure you like the video and subscribe for more content like this.